Joining us for a little bit is State Treasurer John Schroder. You're in the Arklatex in Shreveport, in Bossier. What you here for? What you going to do today?
A lot of things. I spoke yesterday at a conference for the register of voters. So once we have some event like that, then we just pile on with a lot of other things. So we're doing a number of things. I'm really working hard right now to sort of rebrand Unclaimed property. It's sort of like the part of the Treasury Department that's been very, very intriguing to me.
That's the thing that makes you crazy every year, that you think there's that somebody that like a second cousin twice removed who's probably in prison has left you $1 million, and I
go hunting through it, and every now and then I have some money there.
You did get about like $58 one year.
Yeah, I got a little bit of money there. I'm trying to change my name every now and then so I can claim some other figures, but hadn't worked so far. Y'all are pretty good at it.
The state has almost $900 million that belong to citizens of Louisiana.
Wait, stop a second. That's almost $1 billion.
Almost.
$1 billion, 900 million.
Yeah, I got some bad news for you, too. Do you know what happens when the state gets, this is how it works. The state gets about $80 million a year. They return 27 to 32 million.
Like tax refunds and stuff? Is that
it's insurance, just deposits, credit card, just
you forgot about a bank account somewhere,
just all kind of stuff. And it's really just these companies lose your address. So like my wife and I have moved 17 times since we've been married in 33 years. So if we don't change our addresses for our little savings account, our little CDs or whatever, then it gets turned over to the state. So we get about 80 million every year annually. We return roughly 32 million. Well, guess what happens with the balance? Come on, guess.
We spend it.
Not we. Your government spends it. Your government spends it in the state general fund.
So wisely, of course.
It occurs to me, if the state is sitting on $900 million that's, bluntly speaking, not theirs, and there's about 3 million people in Louisiana, I would say the odds are in favor that I got some money sitting somewhere.
Odds are. So right now, just in Caddo and Bossier Parish, it's about $50 million.
Oh, my God.
Between those two parishes. It's the third largest amount in the state behind Orleans and Jefferson. So that's one of the things we're doing. We're sort of rebranding right now. We're going through a process with a couple different partners to rebrand, because nobody knows what unclaimed property is. They think of real estate or something hard property. But this is cold green cash, y'all. This is people who have cash, and my job is to give it back to you.
So where does Aaron go within the next half hour?
So you just got to go to latreasury.com, click on Unclaimed Property, and follow it. It's latreasury.com.
It's
my website.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
It's our website, latreasury.com.
She will be hitting that in the middle of this conversation.
Yeah,
like I said, I think it's like $51 million between Bossier and Caddo.
Wow, that's a lot of money.
Yep.
So reconsidering a run for governor, I hear.
Well,
I'm just going to hit you right in the chin with this one.
Let's just get right to it.
Can I get, you know that coffee you turned down? You want me to go get it for you?
Want some Baileys in it?
Let her have my cup of coffee. You know, it's been very humbling to go places. I spoke yesterday, and people are coming up and asking me if I would, or was I serious. I was only serious in that so many people had asked me about it. It's not something I've thought about. And quite frankly, I didn't grow up wanting to be in politics. You know, I was a Army veteran, a narcotics agent, and I was in law enforcement. And a lot of people don't know I was sort of forced out. I had a very severe eye injury, and I'm half blind in my right eye. So I moved on to the business world. I grew up in an entrepreneurial family. It was a natural fit. I tell people I've been blessed to do the two things that I wanted to do most. I wanted to be a cop, and I wanted to be in business. So I've been able to do both those things, and then had some good fortune, and term limits kicked in 2007, and I went into the legislature with 63 new members. It's not something that I ever dreamt about doing, and just like I never dreamt I'd certainly be state treasurer. That's never even crossed my mind. Now that I'm here, being one of several statewide elected officials, your name comes up a lot. So yes, I have talked about it. I did contemplate it, but I resigned my legislative seat to run for this seat. Mm-hmm. You know, people. Y'all know this. People have lost faith in it. I used to say people are losing faith in this process. but people have lost faith in this process. And look, I tell people very honestly and very sincerely, this is my cross. This is what I want to do for public service. I don't need to do this. I want to do it. And I'm going to change, at least in my circle, what it means to be a public servant. And if in the future that happens and that my name's thrown out there for that particular seat, not now. I've only been treasurer for 13 months now, and I am running for re-election, and I want to serve as your treasurer another 4 years. But, we'll see what happens in the future.
Do we need a new governor?
Yes.
Why? What's his biggest flaw?
Let me tell you, it's not a flaw. I can't say you have a flaw if you don't know something. It's just your experiences in life and what do you do for a living and what your world is. My world is I'm an entrepreneur. I love innovation. I love change. I love youth. I embrace it. That's not atypical in government. And I would tell you, although I like this governor, as I said yesterday, he and I have a friendly relationship, but government has problems that I don't think he's capable of fixing because he's had no experience at it. You just don't decide one day that you wake up and you know what, I'm going to have a savings account and I'm going to save money. It doesn't work that way. You have to be taught that at a very early age. And I think you would admit that. For me, and I told one of my staffers that are with me on a drive that I'm frugal throughout my whole life. It's not something that I do just because I'm state treasurer. It aggravates my wife to no end, but I came from nothing. And when you blood, sweat, and tears your way to success, at least financially, I know exactly how I got here. And government needs some people right now like that. And this governor doesn't have that. I've talked to you guys about this before. Government is on a growth pattern that is unsustainable, and nobody, maybe others other than me, will talk about that and admit that we have a problem, and we got to fix it. You can't allow government to grow between 9% state general fund, 24%, 25% in a 2-year period, while you're only growing at 1%. I've sent y'all that chart before. That's not my numbers. You can't let government grow faster than the economy. It's unaffordable. This doesn't work in any other sector of our life.
It's like writing bad checks, right?
It is. So do I think we need a new governor? Yes, and for that one reason. You need somebody that understands that you can't spend more money than you have.
If I was going to bang on John Bell, it probably wouldn't be on the experience factor, but what it would be is that he tends to, in my mind, present himself he is at his core, in my mind, far more the Democratic Party ideologue than he presents himself to be. Is that a fair criticism?
No, and look, that's not a criticism. That's a fact. I don't criticize him. Look, people say that I'm very conservative and I'm ultra this and I'm ultra that. I tell people this. I'm not very good at the politics stuff, and y'all know that. I tell people the dollar bill, what I love about being state treasurer, the dollar bill does not have an R or a D stamped on it. 1 + 1 is 2. If you spend 2, you're broke. Now, I've seen through my business career, some people are good at managing money and others aren't. If you were never taught it and you were never forced to learn it, that's not a criticism. You're great at what you do. I'm not great at what you do. That's why you're sitting over there and I'm only going to be here for like 10 minutes. You're going to be here all day. That's what you do. That's your expertise. I don't think right now the problems that government face, that the solutions that we need, are the expertise of this governor at this particular time.
In wrapping up, where are you headed today? What's the plan?
Well, you know what? Believe
After
it,
Cracker Barrel.
We've already ate at Waffle House. I've already done.
Kind of man.
Yeah, we've already done 2 TV shows this morning. Like I said, we're really beating the bushes now that I'm sort of getting my feet under me. I've been in office for 12 months. This unclaimed property thing, it bothers me that we have this much money, and it also bothers me that government's spending the money and they shouldn't be. The law says it will forever belong to you. It's yours. You're the owner. What the government has done, what our state government has done, they create this ledger. So they spend it in the general fund and they create a ledger. It's like an IOU. Well, the IOU is up to $852 million. So I'm going to push some legislation that creates a trust fund, puts that money in an account that the government can't touch. It was never intended to be spent by the government. So
Gotcha.
I'm talking about that a lot. It's going to take a constitutional amendment, which I'm typically opposed to, unless we're talking about your money.